Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Soul School Network. I'm Greg, and I'll be hosting today. Um, I would just like to say that Susan and Michael, who are always here with us, are in Lima right now, and Michael has had some surgery done, and he's recovering now, so they won't be joining us. But I'm happy that this small group is here, and of course, many others may join us and watch the session on YouTube. The first thing we would like to do is, before we get to our topic of the day, is enjoy a grounding meditation Koryanka, who is one of our facilitators, created. And so I'm going to just put that on now, and that will get us into the spirit. Okay, full screen. And you can see Sue has this handled beautifully, but I'm a rookie. Where's my Zoom? There we are. Okay.
Or in a comfortable position. To start, you might close your eyes if that feels good. Take 3 deep, relaxing breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time. In through the nose, out through the mouth. We'll start scanning our bodies for any tension there might be. Starting at the head. We'll do this together. We'll just observe without making any meaning out of it. Scan the crown of your head, the back of your head, your face and neck, your shoulders, one arm and then the other, all the way down to your hands. Now your back, from the neck all the way down to the final bone of the spine. You can focus your attention now on your chest and your abdomen. Are there any sensations so far? Any muscle tension? Just observe it for now. Continue with your right leg and foot, and your left leg and foot. Wherever you found tension, let it go gently by visualizing that it is a white cloud that slides down your body all the way to your feet, leaving your body through the soles of the feet. Perhaps there will be many clouds of tension leaving your body. That's great. You're letting them go. You can feel good about it. Once tension is out of your body, it will be gone and transformed into life-giving energy. Let's take a deep, relaxing breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Let it feel good. You can stretch your body and make sure you are comfortable wherever you are. You are a beloved child of God and the earth, deeply connected to her. Notice how your feet are planted on the ground, either physically or energetically at all times. Feeling the earth with the soles of your feet. Feel how your energy grows and extends itself from the soles of your feet towards Mother Earth. You are growing energetic roots that go into the moist, rich soil under your feet, uniting with the Mother, receiving nourishment and love from her. The more your roots extend and go deeper and deeper into the earth, the more you feel deeply grounded and held in love by Mother Earth. Stay present in this moment. You can feel it. Remain grounded and present in this moment. Grounded and present. Grounded and present. You can gently go back to your breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And one more time. Now you can slowly open your eyes when it feels good to you and move your body slowly as you come back. Enjoy a beautiful day.
Okay. Thank you so much, Koryanka. That's a wonderful experience, really. I wanted to say to you that 2 weeks ago, when we did the grounding meditation, I was actually in the garden here, and I love it there, of course. And the sense of grounding was even more deep in terms of really connecting to Mother Earth. So a truly wonderful experience every time. All right, so as mentioned, we have a small group today, but our topic is kind of wide open. We wanted this open mic session to really be an opportunity for anyone who wants to talk about, what is really going on from their perspective, and also maybe get insight from others in terms of what they're seeing. So I'm going to just open the floor here to anyone who wants to share. Maybe you've had a chance to reflect on the topic a little bit this week. So who would like to get us started with what they see as really going on? So Alicia, I know you're there, ready to go.
I guess if I pinpoint one peculiar thing that happened recently would be the fires in California in the US.
Right.
And for the last maybe 2 years, I've been seeing these videos coming up in my feed at BitChute or YouTube about Tartaria, and supposedly there were times throughout Earth's history where there were fires that, well, one particular story I heard, for example, was in Boston, I think it was, where 100 blocks of the city just went up in flames. And the person was pointing out how bizarre and peculiar that was, what would cause that. And the person said that these fires were also in other cities in America, such as New York, where it would wipe out whole blocks of the city. And I just logged that in the back of my head. And now I'm seeing something that seems similar, where in California and Hawaii, for example, seems that an abnormal occurrence of fire taking out large pieces of land. And I guess you can call it a conspiracy theory, but it feels like maybe the earth is being reset, but it's being reset maybe in an artificial way, maybe not in the way of a god sending natural disasters to clear it and reset it, but maybe it's something happening on Earth that is pinpointing certain areas to destroy them and then rebuild them. That's one thing I can contribute to this topic.
That's really good, actually. And I like the idea that you are reflecting on the idea that it is a reset, but not a human-made one, in a sense. Well, a human-made one, but maybe not part of a human plan. Then there is, of course, the idea that it's part of a globalist agenda, and you know, that these things are all built into a larger scheme to reset the economy, reset the world agenda. Does anyone else want to reflect on what?
Oh, I
Lisa
wanted
said?
I wanted to clarify. So the videos I saw, they were saying that the fires, there's no explanation for them. There's no logical explanation for them. And the fires, recently, I've been seeing videos that say that this is not a natural occurrence, that it's more almost like coming from a microwave weapon, the way the fires appear to have started and progressed. And so that's why I was saying that it might not be coming from God or a god. It might be coming from something happening on Earth.
Right. Yes, exactly. Anyone else like to comment on that?
Yes.
One.
Oh, go ahead, Corianca.
Oh, why don't you go ahead, Michelle? I can go after you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna mention that I have a friend in Cali, and luckily she doesn't live near any of the fires, but I was just wanted to comment that.
It's good to hear that she's okay.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how much of you know, of sort of the residential population is affected by it, and you know, of course, all these multi-million-dollar homes. It sure sounds like a sign of something.
Well, she
Corianca,
was afraid that it would spread to her area, but luckily that hasn't happened.
Oh, good. Wish her the best for us, because my understanding is these are kind of come and go, right? As soon as the winds come up, there's another problem.
Yes.
Orianka, what were you going to share with us?
Yes, about the California fires. I do also have been watching the news and trying to understand all of the elements in the equation. There just seems to be a whole lot of things that happened that made it for the fires to be really devastating, and that shouldn't have been that way. So my feeling is that truly this has been caused, that is really intentional, because not only were the fires so devastating because of the wind being so strong, there was also lack of water. There was a shortage of money being given to the firefighters. On top of that, so there were many things that happened that were like the perfect combination for things to be really horrible. And it's hard to believe that in such a beautiful city, in North America, in a rich country like USA, that happened. So I really feel very deeply that it was caused on purpose. Even we know that nowadays there are people, experts, that can cause weather changes, climate change, and rapid winds. And not to talk about the people that were caught with fancy equipment that they could cause the fires with that equipment and those chemicals. But I mean, that's the work of darkness, definitely. And there is an agenda behind that. However, as always, it's kind of interesting how darkness can try to cause us so much pain and destruction, and yet that same heavy energy force, we can reutilize that, we can transform that into light, and we can actually grow thanks to those experiences. So it's really, it goes both ways. Yes, it's caused to cause pain and to destroy us, not only physically, but in our souls, to cause anger, rage, all of that. But we choose, we always have a choice as to how we process these kinds of things, especially the people that were there in the middle of all of that. They have such a huge opportunity to grow through this and to allow this pain to bring them forward. It's not an easy thing, and it's not something that necessarily will happen overnight. It requires a lot of work, but it can become a spiritual initiation for many people, for all of us. Even as witnessing something like that, it can be quite traumatizing sometimes for people just watching from the outside. Yes, go ahead. I think Cilicia wants to speak.
Oh no, I accidentally touched my screen.
Oh, okay. Yes, so that's what I see, and it's tough, but I think that it can serve the highest good at the end of the day.
Yeah, one of the other things to add to what Karyanka was saying was strange. I did hear a story that the insurance policies to cover fire damage was canceled like a month or two before for a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah. So there were quite a few things that made it seem contrived. So for the topic, what is really going on? Perhaps Earth is being reset, but growing up was raised mostly Christian. I always thought the Earth was going to be reset by some type of creator or some type of God that presided over Earth. But in the recent years, when I've been seeing different natural disasters that seem very strange, and of course, being in the threat of war constantly, different wars, I'm feeling like maybe the reset is something happening within Earth or on Earth, and maybe not by a God, but just some beings or some force that's here.
Yeah, I think I saw something like that. In that regards, I saw AI instead of source. AI is the one that's controlling. But I've been looking through a lot of conspiracy theories, all those stuff. I follow the Rumble, I follow different platforms, but I'm also being very careful with my mind, with like being obsessed with these kind of stuff because you are manifesting constantly. So I'm at this point where I'm trying to build a balance. Like, how much should I follow these stuff, the cabal? I believe in some, I believe in them, but then I don't want to believe them in too much that I'm also manifesting these events in this life, in this world. And so I also do channeling. I have a YouTube channel. I did the channeling for the LA fires. And what I picked up was it wasn't anything from the cabal. Of course, there were a lot of negligence from the government. The government doesn't care at all. But what I picked up was it was an accident, and it was a great tragedy, and nobody really cared what happened, and it just spread like crazy. But I'm also giving into account that um, the Illuminati, the cabal, is trying to control us because I realize the prices are going up everywhere. And I'm living in Japan, and even here, the prices are going up, and it will go up to a point that, hey, that they are gonna make us all rely on the government. They're gonna get rid of the high class and turn us all into, like, put us all together in one group. Foods are increasing, so what I want to do is I have a dream is to live off grid and grow my own food, so I don't have to rely on the government in any way possible, even electricity. It's a tough dream. It requires a lot of work, and I'm really just having this vision, but I haven't really get started. I'm still looking for ways to do it, and that has been on my mind for a while.
I think
That's-
oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm done.
I think the way I perceive things going is just there's some force on earth that wants absolute control over every grain of sand, every blade of grass. So a lot of us want to just live and focus on ourselves and just live in our own worlds unbothered. But because of this imposing aggressive force, it's impossible. And I would like to live like that too, Kyle, but I feel it's not possible unless you deal with that imposing force.
Yes, I wish that we were taught to learn how to survive. Like, we were put in this education system that we were trained to be like robots. And that really messed up our childhood. It messed up the way we perceive and messed up our thinking patterns. And that it also get rid of our creativity, and our thinking patterns become very narrow-minded. And now when we reach adulthood, we have to do a lot of detoxing, deprogramming of our habits, of our old habits, which is a really difficult task.
Very true. It's interesting, and I see messages here from Stephen and Bob saying, very true what we're talking about, and exactly. And so, they resonate with you. What I was going to mention to you is that, you talked about living off grid and that kind of thing. And then also about what is called, at least in North America, universal income, where where everyone is paid a salary in a sense on a monthly basis, so there isn't a need to work. And I know that the Canadian government has been trying it out actually in a community or two to see how that works, and so far it seems to work very well. A lot of people would call it welfare, or some kind of subsidy in that regard, but that may be the way it's going. And if you connect it to AI, how many millions of jobs where humans are learning a trade and carrying it out on behalf of society are going to be lost because of this AI revolution, if you will. Does anyone else want to reflect on what we're doing? Stephen and Bob, I just wanted to mention to you, because you came in a little bit late, that we started off talking about the wildfires in California, the fires that are burning through some of the ritziest areas of Los Angeles and destroying literally billions of dollars worth of real estate and homes and dreams. And Michelle has a friend there in that area who's really experiencing it. So I just wanted to let you know that's kind of where we got started on this whole conversation. Who else would like to weigh in on any of these points?
Yeah, SSN, may I know your name, like good name?
Greg.
Greg. Okay, so yeah, Greg, look, I'm from India, so thank you for the recap. And you guys were talking about the California fires, and I've been watching the news on YouTube as well. It's quite devastating too. So what like I'm looking at is like we got all these politicians, we got people, we've got society around us. They only think as of now, like if you date back to like I don't know, like in the 90s or something, people felt pain of other people. People used to think about them, people wanted to do something about them. But in this day of age, they don't care about what others feel, they just want to think about themselves. They are selfish, and this is how the world is going on right now. If you look at even countries, India is a developing country, and our leaders, they've on the in the name of development, uh, there's a lot of suffering going on within the nation, a lot of overworking and everything. Like I just wanted to bring something on that there's a new a law or something coming up that everybody has to work 70 hours per week in the name of development to contribute more to the nation. So like in the name of development, we are forgetting mental health and consciousness, etc. And with AI, everything, AI being misused and everything, I quite resonate with you guys. And yeah, I think the leaders should be more think about the human side as well. They're just focusing on money. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very interesting you say that. And in some of the work that I've done in the past, I've been, employing people who live in India and in other countries in Asia. India's kind of advanced now in terms of technology, and maybe we could call it a second world country rather than third world. But it strikes me as concerning, I guess, in the sense that I can pay somebody in Bangladesh, let's say, 1/10 of or 1/20th of what I would pay somebody in the United States or Canada to do the same job. And that seems like a little bit of a inequality, if I might say. Who else would like to jump in here? Michelle? Oh,
Well,
there's Dave.
Cynthia and I have talked a lot about this stuff before, and it's like what she was saying was something we really discussed, like these beings that are kind of deciding which way the world goes or how it's going to be reset. And we refer to them as the Watchers. I'm thinking that's what you're referring to, Celicia.
Yeah, that's what I call one group. One group I call the Watchers, trying to gain absolute control over.
Yeah, for convenience sake, we just call them the Watchers. And yeah, and we think that they're also like responsible, like they work through human governments and stuff to like a cabal or whatever to, enact their own agenda over here. Like they're from another dimension and it's just like kind of like channeling that over here.
Yeah, to expound on that, I I'm leaning towards this belief that in previous episodes of the Soul School Network, we've spoken about some type of feminine force coming in. I guess you refer to that as a Gaia or a goddess or mother goddess or something like that. And that's going to be the prevailing force in the future, the next immediate future of Earth. But what's going on, I feel, is there are multiple groups, could be immaterial beings, material beings, alien, could be AI, that are all fighting for absolute control over Earth. And we have that tale of the Anunnaki with the Enlil, El, and Isis or Anana, so the two brothers and the sister. So you see that you have like a Satan and a God and a feminine force all fighting for absolute control over Earth. And one is maybe wanting to maintain mankind or humankind, and one wants to completely do away with it. So, and then there are different alien groups. You could say reptilians or watchers or greys, Anunnaki, etc., that also may be fighting for absolute control over Earth. So I think that's what's going on. I think one of these groups or multiple groups are trying to reset Earth, clear it away, and restart it under their control. And some humans serve one side, some serve the other. And that's what I think is going on right now.
Thanks, Alicia. I'm going to get Koryanka in a minute or so to sort of reflect on this feminine energy. You know, she is an Incan high priestess, so that kind of connects nicely. But I wanted to bring Dave into the conversation. Dave, and I don't know, Dave, if this is what you were going to reflect upon, but hi, and what did you want to add to our conversation?
Actually, I really didn't want to dwell too much on the origins, but probably just draw some parallels as well too. That I think in 1918 we had the Spanish flu, and then we had the First World War not too long after that, and then we had the economic crisis. But it seems as though these things are almost cyclical in a sense, and I think the grouping is actually pretty for lack of a better term, interesting in the sense that we recently had a pandemic which we hadn't seen in quite some while, and now we're seeing some economic swings as well, which is also reminiscent of earlier in the 20th century as well too. And some people have alluded that it feels as though this is the 20th century almost on repeat kind of thing. And then if we look at the grander scheme of things, we let's look even further back to like some other more advanced civilizations, and we see that there civilizations like Atlantis and Lemuria, they're characterized by great advancements in technology and culture and enlightenment, but there was like an underlying blind spot. They didn't see their own arrogance in reaching these higher highs, while they were almost undermining their progress in some way that either they turned a blind eye to, or they acknowledge, or that they would gladly pay the price for. And I think that in that sense, it's like we were always looking for the Great Reset, in the sense that some people would say that civilizations that we progressed really far, and then there was this Great Reset kind of thing that sent us back into almost Stone Age times as well too. And I think it's that every global change, it feels as though there is, it's going to happen, and we dwell on that. We dwell on that energy instead of actually, I think that fear of anticipating the Great Reset almost blinds us from making the progress that we need to do as individuals. That the Great Reset probably will happen. It has happened. It will happen again if you believe in the cyclical nature of time and civilization. So yeah, definitely while we do endure tragedies, we should still focus on doing what we can to work on ourselves. And part of that too, I think with the technology we have today is it's one of the lessons that we're seeing that I think that's trying to be taught to us, or that's trying to be emphasized, is that especially with our global communication networks, it's that we shouldn't, while focusing on ourselves and working on ourselves, we can't afford to ignore the people around us as well too. So in that respect, while working on ourselves, we also need to work with others and bring them in, bring that same energy as well into the fold. Yep.
It is interesting how cyclical it is, how much of a pattern there is, in each of these stories. Of course, Corianca is in Peru, and you could sort of see that pattern also in what happened to the Incans, and so she, as an Incan high priestess, sort of probably has a lot of knowledge about the history of that, but also I think that there is some lessons to be learned from what was once a great society. Corianca, are you still with us?
Yes, here I am.
Okay. I just wanted to see if you could put it into context for us in terms of this feminine energy. Is this potentially the way to avert a kind of a end of civilization back to the Stone Ages?
Well, my view from where I stand is that no matter what happens, whether we go back to the Stone Age, the way we imagine, right? Or we do have advancements in technology and go to a very different kind of civilization in the future. I think that what really matters is what is happening inside of us, that we get to tap into the potential of the human being, because we forget that that's the last frontier, really, and that's what truly matters, is that we are beings of divine light. We have abilities and we have great strength inside of us. Our DNA is still, I don't know if this is true or not, but the scientific community speaks about not knowing exactly what DNA does. Like, a lot of it is unknown, they say. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they say to the public. And generally speaking, most people don't know themselves. We don't know. We haven't experienced the full potential inside of each one of us. And as humanity, it's like we are these amazing beings that don't know it yet. We're these amazing beings that believe we're little, that we cannot achieve much, that we're powerless, that there is nothing to it, that we don't have greatness inside of us. And I think that's where the discoveries are waiting to happen. The big discoveries, the reconnection with that divinity deep inside and that inner power, and using that inner power to create a beautiful society where there is plenty of love and self-respect and love for each other, the true understanding of our unity, and how we can create miracles, not only by ourselves, but also as a community. And so whether we go back to the Stone Age or not, that, is something that we'll see what happens. There is a divine plan to it all. But if we are making the discoveries about our own greatness and divinity, then we're going to be fine. We're really going to be fine. And we're going to actually grow and be better human beings, a better society overall. You're muted, Greg.
You're still muted.
I'm such an expert at this, as you can tell. But what I wanted to say was, you know, we have a couple of messages within the chat that I'm going to read out, partly because people who watch this on YouTube later will want to get those insights and they can't really see the chat boxes. But first of all, and these relate, I think, to what Koryenka is saying, that, you know, there's a lot of, you can think about a lot of the conspiracy theories or the, you know, other dimensions, societies, etc. But really what it comes down to is, you know, what we do personally, what kind of work we do personally. Stephen says, I believe such Illuminati groups, even if real, we shall not focus much on them. If such a group does even exist with such powers, we cannot do anything. We shall just have faith in God and just move on living life. I respect your thoughts, but I do feel leaving such thoughts alone and not thinking much about them is good for our own mental health. So that's, you know, that's going inside. Is it Cow? Is that how you say your name? Cow?
It's Cole. Don't worry,
Cole.
it's Cole.
Oh, Cow. Okay, welcome. It's really nice to have you here. He mentions in the chat box, and please, all of you come back. This is wonderful to have people from all around the planet really joining us. Cow says, if history is such a stage play and the future is a play script, then this whole matrix is a system of illusion that is just playing inside of our consciousness. We notice how history always repeats or rhymes. We just need to simply start tuning away from this reality and start focusing on creating, return to our creator God consciousness. So, you know, really great and positive messages really out of a discussion that started about burning homes. Anyone else? Bob, do you want to jump in here with a thought?
Sure, Greg. Am I audible?
Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah,
can hear.
man, these fires are just insane. It feels like Earth is fighting back against us, right? Destroying homes, wildlife, everything. It also makes you wonder that are we pushing it too far? Maybe it could be a reset, right? But even in this chaos, when we see people helping each other, firefighters risking their lives, it just gives you a real human spirit. So AI taking control here, it could predict fires. Maybe it could control the drones. It could save lives, right? And also, it would be crazy if AI could give us a real chance uh, against saving us. And what if all these disasters, right? This is just a notion. Of, this could be part of something bigger. Maybe aliens have been observing us, and finally they decided to intervene, right? Or maybe they are doing something in the back, or we could be living in a matrix. We could all be in a simulation. So are we just part of a program? I think we would never know, but in reality, we are definitely not heading backwards. The technology is developing day by day, and maybe AI will will help us become even better. Will help us evolve, right? So,
Yeah.
what do you think, Greg?
Well, I really like that. You know, the idea that we can learn from all of these past lessons and from these societies that have risen and then fallen. Maybe we're in this position and using technology in a positive way where we can actually be the one civilization on this planet, or who knows, in this universe that actually figures it out. And so, you know, that's a really positive kind of spin on it. And again, I like the idea that we need to work on ourselves to make this happen. We, you know, looking outward or blaming others isn't always the answer. But sometimes maybe if more of humanity pushed themselves over to where we're at, meeting on a Sunday on a Soul School network is an opportunity for us to kind of push what we have in the right direction.
True.
So,
I
Alicia,
agree.
thank you, Bob. That was really insightful. So, Alicia, you wanted to add some thoughts here.
Yes. For most of my life, I thought life was organic. I thought everyone is making it up as they go along, and wherever we land, it's wherever we land. But in the last few years, because of things I've been researching, and that could be misinformation, but yeah, I am feeling like there's a cyclical nature to Earth, and the same patterns keep recurring over and over again, and the end is always going to be the same, and the beginning is always going to be same. Like Hal said, a play script. So yeah, I do feel right now that it is some sort of simulation. And I've been feeling very much like I maybe am some Westworld robot and didn't really have a choice. And I am playing a role, some sort of pre-programmed role. And so what I look forward to from day to day with that type of depressing belief is just exiting. That's my highest hope, to not return to Earth again, not play any role, and just stay in the heavens. Because I remember my time in the heavens or the void or whatever word you want to call it. And it's a place where I felt complete peace with no feeling of inadequacy, inefficiency, no desire that I need to fix anything, no feeling of unsafety or unease or dis-ease and I think I just want to stay there and figure out while I'm here on Earth how I can stay there and not come back to here.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yes, Silisha, as you were saying, something about patterns. I do like observe a few patterns in my life. I've seen that there are few shirts. This might seem quite silly, but there are few clothes of mine, like shirts. I believe that if I wear that shirt, that particular shirt on that day, something bad is going to happen. Or on my way to on my way to college or something, if I take one particular path, that day is going to be a bad day for me. I have observed these things, and at first I thought that this is some random, it's not real, like this just my mind thinking, making up things. But seeing these things repeat again and again, I think I'm starting to believe in such patterns and everything.
I
Probably we,
But
yeah.
but Stephen, it could be superstitious, right?
it's sort of thing. I 100% agree with what you just said, because the same type of miraculous, almost contrived things I notice in my own life, cyclical things, and they're so miraculous. It's like, wow, how did that possibly happen in an organic way? And they happen again and again to the point where you can predict the outcome. So yeah, for a while I thought, yeah, I'm being superstitious, but it just happens so often and so exactly. It gets to the point where you feel like a Westworld robot.
Yeah, true, but don't think too much about it. Like I just sometimes feel like I just have to go through this pain because of my karma or something. I just live it through. And yeah, I just adopted a kind of lifestyle where I just take things and I just move on. That's it. I don't think too much about it.
Yeah.
it's still a mystery why I did come here. Like everything here seems very like a prison. You know, the concept of karma, the concept of religion, every concept, it's just it doesn't feel free. And I don't and people say that we came here for a mission, we came here to save, but it's still a very bizarre concept to come here and say like you're in if this place is really that comical place what we deem as because a lot of spiritual people like Dolores Cannon, she said that this is an earth school and you gotta repeat. This repeating it also feels like a prison. And so is are we do we really come here? Do some of us really come here to help, to save? Because you're initially putting yourself, risking yourself being trapped here by coming here. It's like coming here all the way to the Nazi camp. And I'm not trying to be negative here, but it's just a bizarre. I always question why did I choose to come here? It doesn't make sense. I'm not a masochist.
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
sentenced.
Oh, can I present another perspective?
Sure, yes.
Oh, yes, I really feel your comments about wanting to be in a beautiful place that we might call heaven, or not being here because this is a concentration camp somewhere where we're being mistreated, to say the least. But I think that there is still a lot of beauty all around us, and there is great potential for things to be better in our own lives and in the bigger society as well. I always tell my husband, and I laugh because he actually agrees with you. He says, once I passed away and I go to the world of the spirit, I just wish to stay there and not come back. You know, like that would be fine with me. He says, like, I would prefer to just stay there. And I always say to him, well, you know what? I actually want to come back. I want to come back as many times as I possibly can come back. And here is the only thing. This is my only, but only if I can come back to do the work, if I can come back to be fully in my life mission, if I can come back, and even though there might be all kinds of difficulties, and just like in this lifetime, it all starts with dark nights of the soul. But if I can just go through all of that and then end up doing my life mission and enjoying life, right? Because I am doing my life mission and I have done my healing and all of that, then I'll be really happy to come back and keep on contributing to making this a better world in any way. That would make me happy. I would be willing to come back. And I have said this to him many, many times. I'm really willing to do it. But of course, I don't want to come to just suffer and that's it. Obviously, that wouldn't be good. I want to come to make a difference. And of course, by doing so, also enjoying life as well.
Well, if you're coming back, then Peter has to come back too, because he's a beautiful being. And sorry, Peter, you're stuck coming back as long as Horianka is.
Well, we're a team. That's it. We're a team.
You're a team, exactly. And we're all really a team, right? You could say we're all one.
Yes.
I like to kind of wrap up here with on this positive note, but also read a couple of the messages here. Kao says, I always want to exit this peace plan to the point of considering being a monk and disconnecting with everything in here. And, in a sense, that is focusing on what is important. Stephen says, I think we're all some form of philosophers, truly, and we have such mindset. And so, Soul School Network is in session. So let's bring things to a close here. I'm going to read the mantra of unification, if that's all right with you all. I just need to find it. Let me see here. I have it up here. Here we go. share screen. Okay. And find my browser. Okay. I'll have some editing to do of my own poor efforts. Okay. The mantra of unification. The souls of all are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form and life and all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all people love. Thank you all. It was a beautiful session. We're back in 2 weeks. The topic is still under consideration. I think we're going to have someone here as a special guest. So keep an eye on Facebook and on our website for information on that. And then 2 weeks after that, we'll be back with another open mic session like this. And so I hope to really see you all here again. This was really an enjoyable time. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Greg.
you. I do have a question. I actually found this group. I hope I'm not cutting because my internet's not
Yeah, it was
You're
cutting out
clean
good,
there.
but I found this group through groups like this.
Let me just end the session here, the recording, and then we'll talk because your mic is cutting out quite a bit.